The show is It's All Good. Luke is here for a chat. My guest today is Jennifer Sprowl, and she's the founder of Gracing Agefully. So you'll see gracing. I love that word, gracing agefully. Well, anyway, that's a mouthful, and she'll tell us all about it, why she called it this way. But before we go there, I want to say why I call this show It's All Good, because it's my favorite cup. I love this cup. Look how big it is. It's almost as big as my head. And it's all good. It's just a way of thinking, a way of being, a way of expressing my being in this world. Because when things happen, regardless good or bad, if it's good, obviously it's all good, and if it's bad, well, it's past and I can't do anything about it, so it's good, because I'm here, I'm still here. So as long as whatever happened doesn't take me away from this world, it's all good. And that's a shorter version of my explanation. And what's coming up in the future, I can't control the future, so it's all good. So when you live your life, look at what's good right now, right here. There's always things to be grateful for. There's always, Thanksgiving's coming very, very soon for you in America if you're watching from the US. But any day, it's a good day to be thankful and to be grateful. And when you think of all the things you're grateful for, it's all good. You're breathing, you're alive, you have most likely a roof over your head. If you're watching this, you're way ahead of a lot of people because you have technology to watch screen. So that being said, life is amazing, and let's see how we can age with grace. So let's welcome Jennifer to the stage. Welcome, Jennifer. So good to have you here. Founder of Gracing Age Fully. My goodness, you got me there when I read that. And so let's go over who you are, what you do, where you're from, and why Gracing Age Fully has been created.
All right. Well, thank
Floor's
you,
yours.
Denise, for having me here. I very much appreciate it. Again, my name is Jennifer Sprowl. I am the founder of Gracing Agefully, which I will explain. I live in Gaithersburg, Maryland, which is outside of Washington, D.C.
Mhm.
And I am a realtor by day and founder of Gracing Agefully by the rest of my life.
Wonderful.
And the origin of the name actually came to me years ago when I was thinking about aging and getting older. And my mother's name was Grace, so of course that was also part of it. And the word grace has so much meaning. And because there was already aging gracefully, I put the two together. And it really came to fruition after I experienced a healing with my mother, which, by the way, was happened during her time in memory care with dementia.
Yeah.
And that's what my chapter is about. That if you see at the bottom that you can get a free chapter from the book that I contributed to,
Yeah.
it's about the journey of that with my mother, Grace.
So
There
so
you
that's
go.
where we'll get it, but we'll get back to that later. But
Okay.
definitely, it's on our website, so we'll get
Okay.
back to that.
Great. So the whole thing kind of came to fruition when at age 60, I had an epiphany that I could live to be 120.
Mm-hmm. Love that.
And my mother had actually just died shortly after my 60th birthday at almost 100. My father had died 4 years earlier at almost 95. So I had what they would call good genes.
Mm-hmm.
But it was more than that. Really, what happened was it shifted in my mind to the fact that I was 60, I could live to be 120. I had as many years ahead as I had already
Yeah,
lived. And I kind of felt like I had a do over in the second half.
that's awesome.
And so that was what, well, actually, what inspired me to start Gracing Agefully was I got all excited about that. And I started asking my baby boomer friends, what if you knew with certainty you were going to live to be 100 plus? And they, before I could even finish asking the question, they would say, I don't want to live to be 100.
I know. That's crazy, eh? Because I'm gonna stop you there for a sec. Because what happened is when people think of aging, they think of wheelchair, dementia, pain, suffering, mental illness. They don't think that they could be like we are now
That's
at
right.
99,
That's
right?
right. And I was kind of shocked at the time because I was so excited about the
Yeah,
fact that I had all these years ahead of me. I could
yeah,
do anything. I could really have a whole new life that I could create. I could
yeah,
really
yeah.
write the story I wanted
Yeah,
at
you
the
could
end.
go back to college, create a new career, and just like
And
you've done, like
right. And
now.
then they're all spitting in my face. I don't want to live to be 100. So the mission of Gracing Agefully is to change the culture of aging.
I love that.
And the culture of aging to me is all the conditioning and the limiting beliefs that we have about what being 100 is or what being older is and what is happening to us during the aging process, which we tend to see this sort of compounded version of all the things that start to sort of deteriorate or fail, and we don't see anything else. We just see this collection of diaper wearing, memory losing, blind, deaf, you name it. And so I set out to do that. And I realized the only way I could change the culture of aging, which is a very big job, is to just live it myself.
Hmm.
So
And
that's what I do.
we're just at home because you say at 60 you decide like you're going to live to 120. I'm going to be 60 on Wednesday, so
Oh, you're a baby. You're a
so that,
baby.
but
You're
that's like
a
okay,
baby.
that's my tipping point of
I'm
now I can start my new life. I can start my second half of my life to live to
Exactly.
120.
So that was very well put
I
because
love it.
really the what I decided at 60 and I'm still living today is that I am always only halfway.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that every day is the most important piece of the puzzle going
Yeah,
forward.
of course. Yeah. And that's what I like because when I talk to my clients, I always promote like rock the second half of your life. Like
Yes,
the second half of your life doesn't have to be like dragging and sick and yeah, there's problems, but the more emphasis you put on the problem, the more problem you'll have.
absolutely.
Right.
It's
So if
it's like we know we manifest what we think, right?
yeah, yeah,
So if
exactly.
that's what
So
you're
if
thinking,
there are problem, okay, now it's all good, right? Let's go back to step one. It's
that's
all
right.
good. What's the solution? What can I do about it? What's out there? The technology nowadays. I'm in. It's such a big book. I'm in the process of reading Life Force from Tony Robbins. I don't know
Uh-huh.
if you read it.
I haven't.
You got to put your hands on that.
I will. I'll write it
Uh,
down.
it's all about what's coming up, the new technology that is here now that help people gracing agefully. Like
Yes. Good
it's
job.
all like he always been fascinated with health and well-being, Tony Robbins, as much as he worked with mindset and changing people mindset, but he's invested millions of dollars in several companies to support life, to support health, to support youth,
Right.
to grow and to feel younger as you go older. And in that book, I mean, it's something I need to like right now. I have two ways. I have the book and I don't know where it is, but I have the book and I have the audio book. So
Hmm.
depending where I am, sometimes I listen to audio book, sometimes I'm reading the book. But I need to sit down, read the book, and highlight a whole bunch of places and put stickers because all the information he gives in there is like it's coming. And right now, some things are expensive because when it comes out, like the first cell phone, right? The first cell phone was thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Right now, you can buy a cell phone for a few $100, right?
Right.
So,
Exactly.
so now he said, just wait, people. Just look, something's coming. Get yourself ready to really, gracing agefully because technology is on our side.
That's right.
It
And
we have
the other
ways.
thing that I think is really important about that is that outside of technology, you have technology in your body.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that I
Yeah,
think is the most exciting
yeah,
because you can tap into that resource today.
absolutely. Right now, it's free.
That's right. And your mind is the
Yeah,
controller of that. And
yeah.
so if you can work on your own thoughts and your outlook and your attitude and your mindset, you've got most of the battle won. So that
Mm-hmm,
those other
mm-hmm.
things will only enhance your
Yeah,
ability to live
yeah.
well longer.
I agree with you. That's awesome. And also, like as you say, it's in the mind. If you wake up in the morning and say, oh, I'm so sore, I'm getting so old, and it's normal that I'm sore when I get up in the morning, but I hate it. It's like, okay, then you'll stay in that mindset, and every day you'll get up and you'll be sore, and every day you'll get sorer, and
That's right.
nothing's going to get better. But if you wake up in the morning and you say, oh, I'm alive, life is awesome. Can you see that? I can move my arms still. I'm still breathing. Life is amazing. Okay, let's do a bit of stretching so that
Uh-huh.
I can release the tension in my muscle, and then I can go to my day. So it's totally different attitude, right?
Right. The other thing I've noticed is that we tend to wait until we've lost it to
Hmm.
appreciate it. And that's another thing that I say to people. It's like, don't project into
Prevention.
the future of what you're going to be. See where you are right now.
Yeah.
Start there. Don't stay there, but
Yeah.
start where you are. Accept yourself exactly how you are
Yeah.
because you are perfect at this
Hmm.
moment. And, 10 years from now, you're going to look back and go, oh, I wish I had appreciated
Yeah.
that I
Yeah.
could walk. Maybe I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
sore, but I could walk, I could hear.
Yeah.
It really makes a difference if you just appreciate what you have right at this moment.
Hmm. Like we could go crazy for an hour on that. But I
I'm
remember
sure.
seeing a couple of places, different women mostly, that decided to start to get in shape, like to really go to the gym and lose weight and work out, and at age 59, and you see
Right.
a picture of them at 74, and they're strong, and they have a thin strong body, and they're healthy, and their face
Mhm.
is radiant, and it's like, hey, I'm 60. Like I've done a lot of workout, and I'm still going to the gym a little bit right now, but I was like, okay, it's time to get back to it. Like when I see that, I was like, okay, let's start. Let's start today, like don't have to go five
Exactly.
times a week like I used to. I can go twice a week right now, right?
Right.
And then increase to three, and then increase to four, and just build on it. Yeah.
I have also developed a system for myself because I've always been kind of fitness oriented, at least in
Hmm.
the second half of my life. I've been more fitness oriented, and I'm really trying to get away from project oriented things. Like I'm going to go on a 10-week program, I'm going to the gym 3 times a week,
Oh,
all of
yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah,
And so I developed what I call my MDRs, which are something I do every single day. It's a non-negotiable, and it takes into consideration every major muscle group,
yeah,
and it takes very little time. I don't need special equipment. I don't need to be in a special place. And I don't need to go anywhere. I can do it
yeah,
right here, and I don't have to do it all at once. So I'll do push-ups until I can't do any anymore, or I will do like whatever they call them,
leg
leg
lift,
lifts for
or
the core
yeah,
until I can't do anymore, deep squats until I can't do anymore. And I've started putting in some things that are like um, there's Dr. Peter Attia. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he
no,
has a podcast called The Drive, and he's all about longevity. He's much younger than I am, and he's he does what he calls the Centenarian Olympics. So he is training now in his 50s to be able to still do what he wants to be able to do then, which is, he said, I want to be able to pick up my grandchildren, just what we think of as simple things. So
yeah, yeah,
one of the things is getting off the floor. If you're sitting on the floor, getting off the floor without using your hands. And
mm-hmm,
frankly, I can't do it today, but I develop a system from what's the lowest point that I can get up from without using my hands. And for me right now, it's a step that's like that high,
yeah,
and it's
yeah,
getting better, and it's getting
yeah,
better. So I
yeah,
just do it every day, and I walk for 30 minutes minimum. And then other days, if I do a dance class or if I do a swim class or whatever, that's fine. But
yeah.
on the days that I don't have that planned, I just weave in those few things. And then every day I've done my non negotiables.
That's awesome. Like there's a lady I know, and I'll name her because she deserves to be named, Diana Jordan Page. and I saw a post of her, I think it was on Facebook, celebrating, I don't remember the number, but like, let's say 1,500 days of dancing. And she's
Wow.
70 something, right?
Wow.
Like she said, okay, I've been dancing every day,
Yep.
for that many amount of day, but like 3, 4 years, right? It's like,
And
good for you.
that's the beauty of it, that it's something she enjoys,
Consistency.
it's fun, and it's moving. I mean, that's the other
Yeah.
thing, is we tend to think it has to be hard and it has to be painful in
Yeah.
order for it to be useful.
And she's radiant. She's looks years younger than what she is, and
Yeah,
she's always smiling, and she's look healthy. So, it works.
that's
It just
amazing.
when people say, oh, it's too late, it's never too late.
Never too late. Exactly.
Never too late.
I absolutely agree.
So I talked earlier about gratitude and all that. So share a little bit of your feeling about gratitude and how you experience that in your life.
So I have two things to say about that. One of them is that gratitude, like many other things, become kind of a meme. It's like we think, oh, we have to be grateful every day. It becomes a chore
Yeah,
almost, the
yeah,
way that it's presented.
yeah,
And my feeling is that gratitude is much what I was just saying earlier. It's acceptance of what you do have.
mhm,
Appreciating the fact that today I can do this, this, and this, and I
yeah,
have all of this, and I have enough today, which I am very grateful for, because there's no guarantee after today.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
if I just keep waiting until some other time to live, I'm going to lose it. And so
Yeah.
for me, gratitude is really accepting and appreciating what you have and what you are right now,
Mm,
not trying to be something else, something better, competing, comparing. It's you right now. And
awesome.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah. And I totally agree with you. And it's like, hey, it's right now, you
Yep.
know, like it's not, you can't know what's going to come tomorrow. And what happened 2 seconds ago is now yet past. So you can't change that. So the
Yep.
best you can do is like, hey, I'm here.
I
We're
know.
talking. It's
Exactly.
amazing, from
Exactly. I've been reading so many quotes. I wish I had one in front of me because I don't want to misquote. But one of the things that I do is I live every day by the Gandhi quote, which is, live every day as if you'll die tomorrow.
yeah. Yeah.
Learn every day as if you'll live forever. And
Hmm.
I find that just perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you feel that in order, because we talked about what's in your mind and it allows you to change your being and how you act and react. And do you feel like meditation is something important to integrate in someone's life?
I think it absolutely is essential. And I think every single person has a different interpretation or understanding of what meditation is and what works for them. So it's another one of those things that can either become, oh, I should be
Gotta
meditating.
meditate. Yeah.
It's like a project that I haven't done, where you beat yourself up for not doing it, or you really start to understand where the effect of meditation occurs in your life.
Yeah.
So for me, I write in the morning. So I do. Julia Cameron,
Journaling.
who
Yeah.
wrote The Artist's Way, talks about morning pages.
Yeah.
I call that, in my chapter, flushing the toilet, because in the morning you wake up and you have all of these kind of toxic
Hmm.
thoughts that immediately grab you while you're still half asleep.
Gotta do this, gotta do that. I didn't do
Yeah.
this. He said
Yeah,
that. I said that. I should have said that.
exactly.
Why didn't?
And morning pages are immediately in the morning. You sit down and you just write, try to say whatever those thoughts are that are in your head. And they really physically, it transfers that
Yeah.
negative thought pattern
Yeah.
onto the page and gets it out of your head. So for me, that's the start of meditation.
Yeah.
I also walk every day, and when I walk, the thoughts just kind of flow so freely through my mind. That's just the way I operate,
Hmm.
and just allowing them to go through and not stopping and attaching to anything or just letting it go. For me, that also is a form of meditation. And everybody has their own. Some
Yeah.
people can do transcendental meditation for 3 hours a day,
Mhm.
and other people can't
Or
sit.
just like you're saying, like walking. I found that anything we do can be a meditation.
Yes.
You could be driving and decide, okay, I'm going to meditate for 15 minutes. So my meditation would be, I'm going to be super aware of
Yes.
what's around me.
Yeah,
And that's a meditation, right? Like
absolutely.
focusing, okay, I'm going to be aware of all the cars that are around me all the time. I'll know everything.
Yeah.
I'll be aware of, oh, three lights down the road. I can see that. I'm aware of that. I'm aware of the stores around me or the surrounding. Like if you focus, anytime you place your mind into a focusing area, that's a meditation,
Yes.
right?
And what you said is very interesting to me, because one of the things I think about too is, again, kind of the paradigms we believe are happening to us as we age. And one of them that we complain about is slowing down.
Mm.
It's like everything slows down. My memory's not as fast. I can't think of things. I can't remember name. And we focus on
Takes
the
me
slow.
longer to do this or
Takes me
that.
longer to do things, and we feel inadequate, especially I think people who have younger children, or
Hmm.
not young, but children who are younger than them, obviously, will feel the comparison that my
Hmm.
kid can think of it in 2 seconds and I'm so slow. But the fact is, I think that is the greatest gift of aging that we have, is slowing
Mm.
down, because we miss so much
Yeah.
when we're rushing and we're distracted. And I just think that the beauty of slowing down, which meditation is the ultimate slowdown, is that all of a sudden you realize the richness of
Yeah.
your environment, and all around you are ideas, there's beauty, it's just, this overabundance of beauty
Yeah.
if you just slow down to notice.
Hmm. I love that. I love that a lot. I have a girlfriend. She's going to be 84 in February.
Hmm.
And I don't know how long ago, I would say a couple years at least, minimum a couple years ago, she decided to really take on meditation seriously, like for like make it a practice.
Yes.
And what she does is, I think what she does is she sit down, she has some background music, and she just, her work is to clear her mind, to stop the chatter, and to find the inner peace.
Hmm.
And that's what she's doing. Like she, for her, it's important. She has to do it, like, oh, I got to go do my meditation. She's excited to do that.
Right.
And what I noticed from her as a behaviors is she's a lot more calmer. She gets a lot less anxious. She lot better positive attitude. Like all these things have changed from her in the last few years, and her way of thinking. She see the people around her differently.
Yeah.
So it's amazing, and she just started. Like she hasn't been doing that practice for very long. So it's never too late to start any type of
Not at all. Not at all.
self-awareness practice.
And you also remind me, I just did my first TEDx talk,
Oh,
which
congratulations.
was very scary. Thank you very much. It was, I have stage fright, so I
Mhm.
was pretty anxious about doing it. And it went well. As far as I'm concerned, it was perfect, although I'm sure someone else could find flaws in it, as will
Has it
I.
been published yet, or it's
Not
coming?
yet. It's still being edited.
Well,
So
you'll have to. Well, I'll have to get you back when it's
definitely.
being published, and then we'll promote it to everyone.
But one of the conclusions that I drew, that I summarized at the end, is this thought I had while I was developing the talk, that, all our lives, baby boomers in particular, all our lives, we were taught to kind of defer life
Hmm.
until we get through
Yeah,
kids and work,
yeah,
and build up enough money that we can stop working and
yeah.
start living.
I'll be happy when I retired. I'll be
Right.
happy when. I'll be happy in my vacation. I'll be.
Right. If you ever get there. So
Yeah.
one of the things I started to realize as I was thinking about this is, I say time is the new money.
Mhm.
So we always thought we had to save enough money to live after we stop working.
Yeah.
The fact is, what we're trying to do is save time, is like accumulate time that we can spend later. And unfortunately, time can't be spent later. It's now or never. And so for me, time is the new money. And I really look at how do I spend my day, including my thoughts, because if you're working from, 9 to 5, let's say, which nobody does, but let's
Typical
just
hours.
say
Yeah.
you did, um, you're preparing to go to work. Then you're driving to work. Then you're worrying about work, and then you're worrying about what the next meeting is going to be, and then you're worrying about what happened in the meeting that you just had. And to me, that's all work and worry, and
Yeah.
it's all out of time. It's
Hmm.
all out of the present. And so when I started thinking of time as the new money, I started looking at how do I spend my time,
Hmm.
because it's precious. That is
Yeah.
grace,
Yeah.
is time.
I love that. So I'll go back to the beginning of our conversation. Tell me a little bit more about your mother.
So my mother, it's kind of a long story, so I won't go into too much detail, but I'll talk about my relationship with her.
Uh-huh.
So my mother and father had me late in the game. I was the last of 5,
Uh-huh.
and I was born when they were nearly 40, which in 1954 was a pretty rare thing.
Hmm.
And I do have 4 siblings, the youngest of whom is 6 years older than I.
Okay.
So when I was going through puberty, my mother was going through menopause.
Yeah, yeah.
And I considered that that was probably the crucible in which our challenges were born. Also, at age 11, my last sibling moved out of the house,
Hmm.
and my parents and I moved to a different state. So I was in middle school at the time, and all of a sudden I went from being the youngest in a family that was pretty well known in the community, and kind of the protective support that you get from having siblings that have already gone through the school
To be the
system.
single child.
I was like an only child
Yeah,
overnight.
yeah.
And so that combination of things made the relationship between my mother and I rather challenging. And then later, what happened, and my mother I go into it in the story more because I do have a theory about her dementia. And I
Hmm.
think that in many ways it was brought on by her own dissatisfaction with
Hmm.
her
Hmm.
own life and
Yeah,
herself.
yeah, I can see that. May
And
as well
then,
forget. I don't want to remember, right?
right,
Like,
right. And so when she was finally admitted to memory care, they said she acclimated faster than anyone. She had been really physically ill, and they did an assessment and, of course, said she needs to be in memory care. So we put her in, and she acclimated almost immediately. And she was one of the longest surviving residents in the memory care unit with over 7 years. And during that time, honestly, she thrived. And I found who my mother really was in her dementia.
yeah, yeah.
So there was a person in there who was funny. She was very kind. She was positive. She just had so many great qualities that I never even noticed
It's
when I was
amazing.
living at home. So for me, it was just this beautiful healing journey. And also, she showed us what it could be, because everybody that I always brought stories back of my mother because she was living a fantasy life, etc. And people would say, oh, they would laugh hysterically at the stories and then say, if that ever happens to me, just shoot me. So my theory was that dementia, and I will say that she had a dementia that was much happier than a lot of the people that lived
Hmm.
around her. So we're very blessed with that. But at the same time, I don't think there's a good dementia and a bad dementia. I just think that was her
Hmm.
personality. And
Hmm.
that's what she really wanted, was a life where she didn't have to do all the work. It was kind of
Yeah,
easy
yeah.
for
I mean, she's
her.
being taken care of
She
then,
was being
thinking,
taken care of. She was taken to the theater, which she loved. She would go on a bus to nowhere. I mean, it was just like she was living the life. So in the end, when she died, she was ready. So it wasn't like this horrible, sad,
yeah,
tragic
yeah.
thing. She was ready. So she showed us in that 7 years what it can be like to
Yeah.
be at that age, even with something we all think, oh my God, I'd die
I
if I
don't want
got
to get
that.
dementia and all that.
Right. And then showed us that, hey, death is coming and it's fine. It's just the next step.
Yeah.
So that was really the story of the grace of grace.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad I asked that
I
question.
am
It's
too.
very beautiful.
Thank you.
And is it what you talked about in your chapter?
Yes.
Wonderful. So definitely download that chapter. I'll show you the link a little
They
bit
get
later.
a
But
few more details too on
yeah,
her
of course,
very
of course.
exciting love life in dementia. So I
Wonderful.
won't give away the stories, but
That's awesome. So, Jennifer, do you have any last tip or any things you would like to say before we end this wonderful conversation?
so since I've just had the good fortune to do this TEDx talk, I happen to have a list of things that I would like to leave people with. And the first one is live as if you're only halfway. So
Mm.
even today at 16, I'll be 69 on Thursday. So you must be October 25th and I'm October 26th, I guess. Um, Second is be the change. This is also Gandhi. Be the change you want to see in the world. And that's what I decided to do. If I
Mhm.
wanted to change the culture of aging, I have to be that change. Your life is your work, not your job. Your life is your work. Time is the new money. Be a good steward. Start where you are. Don't stay where you are. And be brave. So, this is the time in life to say yes to things
Yeah.
you've always been afraid to say yes to, and
Mhm.
just jump in and then figure it out, and it will
Yeah.
change your life.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for these words of wisdom, and
My
it's
pleasure.
something that, like, I had like a show a couple weeks ago, and we talked about fear, right?
Yes.
And how to have fun with your fear. And I think it's all about that,
Yeah.
because too often people are afraid to age, right?
Yes.
Because we're not in a society that support our elders,
No.
not in America. Like, I don't feel that we support our elders. I don't feel like we're encouraging people to become older, right?
Yeah.
We discards our elderly most of the
Yes.
time, right? I
Exactly.
remember with my family, I live back east, and then I've been in Vancouver for 27 years. So I missed some of my mom growing older because I was here and she was over there. But I would talk to her weekly. I would go see her at least once a year. And but I know, unfortunately, and it's not my siblings' fault, but like, she would go to family gathering, and most of the time she would just sit on her corner and you know listen, right?
Right.
Like, I felt that she was discarded. She was It's like just like her picture was on the mantle, where it's like her sitting on the couch, right?
Right. And
And it's unfortunate.
I think too, when these retirement communities, it's like a leper colony. It's like we've
Mhm.
put them all in one cage so that
Yeah,
nobody has to see what that's going to be
yeah.
like. And I just think it's such a destructive model.
Yeah, yeah.
So I
And there's
agree.
other community that are embracing their elder. They are the knowledge people. Like, if you look at I don't want to say the wrong word, but the American Indian, like
Yes, Native American.
the native, that's the word I was
Yes.
looking for. And in Canada, is like autochtone in French. But if you look at the native, I mean, they embrace the elder. They're the wise people. They're the people that have lived the life and have the information that you're looking for.
Right.
And sometimes you don't want to hear that information, and I feel that's why we push people away, because
Yeah.
I've walked that path. I
Yeah.
know, I can support you. So it's a big thing to see the world differently, and to really encourage people to not be afraid to grow older,
Yes.
and to rock. Like, I love saying that, rock the second half of your life. Make
Absolutely.
the second half of your life even better than the first one. And if you didn't have a good first half, well, that's a good reason to make the second half really good. It's
Exactly.
not
That's
too
the way I
late.
see it.
So thank you so much, Jennifer. I totally appreciate you. And
Thank you,
I am
Denise.
going to download that book for sure, that chapter of the
Okay.
book. So just stay there. I'll be right back with you. So I forgot to share that, but how to reach Jennifer, here it is. So it's her website, Gracing Gracefully, Agefully, Gracing Agefully. Just read that there. How to reach Jennifer. And then she has the guide that you can download on the website. So just go on the website, the same website, Gracing Agefully. And there's a link for you to download that. You have to put your email and your name, and then you can download that. So that was amazing. For me, I'm all about living forever. I never mind living on 60 years. I want to live forever. I want to live 900 years. So, but that technology is coming, and I hope I'll still be here so that I can benefit from that. And but if you would like to, oh, I have a gift for you too. Look at that. And because our life is full of changes, full of different things that are happening, we lose someone dear to us, we lose a pet, or the kids are leaving the house, or regardless of what the big changes are happening in your life, I made a checklist, which is starting over a checklist. And that's to help you rock the second half of your life. There are things you used to do that are not possible anymore. Well, starting over checklists will give you different tips that will allow you to make those changes and make it easy and make it fun. And again, if you want to talk with me, whether you want me to help you in any way, or if you would like to be on the show, or you just want to have a chat with me, book a call with me at tiny.cc// talk with Denise. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel at youtube.com/ at Denise Billil. So it's always a pleasure to have amazing guests here to discover incredible people that I've encountered in my life. And somebody asked me, like, what's your niche of guests and all that? Because some people would always have only like fitness trainer that will come and give different things or different. But for me, it's like people I think are interesting, regardless of what they do. Like I had a couple of weeks ago, I had someone that does book publishing, but then we end up talking about resilience and love. And, so there's always so much to discover from people. So always check my channel, always look at who's my guest. And I invite you to come every Monday at noon Pacific to listen to my new guest. So until next week, be kind to one another and I'll have an amazing birthday. And I'll talk about that next week, perhaps.